So let's start with or do another example. In this case, I'm going to use the points 6, -4. So 6, -4, and 4, -2. So we're going to graph the line that goes through these points and then calculate the slope of the line. So I'll need another set of axes. And let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, -1, -2, -3, -4. 1, 2, 3, 4. I think that's going to be sufficient. So I go 6 and down 4 right here, and 4 down to 1, 2, 3, 4 down 2, and connect these. Once again, I find a line that falls from left to right. So I expect that this is going to have a negative slope. So let's use our formula, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And this time I'm going to call this point number 2 and this point number 1. So this would be my y2, and this is my x2, and this is my y1 and my x1. So plugging in those values, y2 is -4, and I'm subtracting y1, which is -2, and for my x values, I have 6 minus 4. So let's simplify this. 4 minus -2, this is the same, or -4 minus -2 is the same thing as -4 plus 2, which is -2. So the slope here is -2 over 6 minus 4, which is +2. So this has a slope of -1. And if we think about our path, this was, we had a fall, we went down 2 and over 2. So our rise is -2, our run is +2. That's how we see that here in this formula. And again, if you started at this point and moved a path um, to the other, we could also go up 2 and then back 2. That'd be +2 and -2, in which case you would end up with m equals 2 over negative. It's still -1. So I want to just emphasize again, it doesn't matter which point you call number 2 and which point you call number 1. And when you're finding a path from one point to the other, it doesn't matter if you start at this point and draw a path here, and if you go down and over or over and then down, you should still get the same answer. Okay, one more. Let's say we have the points -2, 3, and 1, 3. I'll draw a set of axes. -2, 3 would be up here. -2, 3. I went back 2 and up 3. And then I've got the point 1, 3, so I'll go over 1 and up 3. Connect these with a line. Here's the point 1, 3. In this case, we end up with a horizontal line. So this is parallel to our x-axis. And let's look at what happens when we calculate the slope. Oh, not y. M equals, and I'm going to call this y2, 3 minus y1 over 1 minus x1. So 3 minus 3 is 0, and 1 minus minus 2 is 1 plus 2, which is 3. 0 divided by anything is just 0. So what I've found here is that when I have a horizontal line, the y-coordinates are the same. So when I take a difference between two numbers that are the same, I'm always going to get 0. So the slope for any horizontal line is 0. And let's think about when we have a vertical line. So I'm going to pick 2, 3, 4. Let's say that we draw a vertical line over here. So a vertical line is one that's straight up and down. And pick any points that you'd like on this line. So for instance, this point. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. That's the point that's over 4 and up 4. It has coordinates 4, 4. This point has coordinates 4, 2. This one has coordinates 4, 0. This is 4, negative 3. Notice that all of the x coordinates are the same. They're 4. And when I try to calculate the slope, I could pick any two of those points. So let's say that we pick these 2 points. And I look at the y coordinates, 0 minus negative 3, and 4 minus 4. So 0 minus a negative. So when you subtract a negative, that's the same thing as addition. So this ends up being 3, and 4 minus 4 is 0. Division by 0 is undefined. And for any vertical line, you'll find that the slope turns out to be something over 0, which is undefined. And just a little side note about why division by 0 is undefined. So think back when you're first learning division, maybe something like 8 divided by 2. Usually this follows having learned multiplication, and we learn division as an inverse operation. So we're asking ourselves, what number do I multiply by 2 to get 8? And so you think through your multiplication tables, and you'll eventually come up with, that's 4 is the number that I multiply by 2 in order to get 8. So let's think when we have 3 over 0. We're saying, what number do I multiply by 0 to get 3? And there's no such number. It'll never happen. Anything multiplied by 0 is going to equal 0. It's never going to equal 3. So this is undefined. So join me for one more video, and we'll wrap it up for linear functions and their graphs.